What up, dope Biz Nation? It's your boy Tay Biz, and we have a very, very, very interesting video for you today. Go ahead and like this video. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Let's get it in. Derrick Lee Cardello-Smith, this gentleman right here. Okay. This gentleman claims that back in 1997 in Detroit, Michigan, Sean P. Diddy Combs drugged and sexually violated him at a party at the Holiday Inn Hotel. At this particular party, Cardello-Smith did ingest some alcohol. He participated in group sex with some ladies up at the party and also along with Diddy. However, P. Diddy showed interest in him directly, and he said he got uncomfortable. He sat on the couch that was away from Diddy. He let things die down. Cardello-Smith claims that the rapper is selling his Los Angeles home to keep assets away from a potential settlement with him in the near future. Now, this is the reason why he has filed a motion to temporarily restrain P. Diddy from selling his property. Okay. Why does this matter? If you remember, in July, it was reported that Diddy listed his home in the Homeland Hills of Los Angeles for $70 million. That is the same home that was raided by Homeland Security back in the spring in connection with a sex trafficking investigation, which again is everything is still alleged at this point. All right. So let's look at the motion and let's look at some of the things that he actually said in the motion. It says here, plaintiff was excited to attend this gathering and did so because this is Sean Puff Diddy Combs. This is Bad Boy. He was excited about partying with Bad Boy back in the day. Plaintiff also had participated in and consumed alcohol with Mr. Combs and the ladies and other security. Puffy was shockingly cool and somewhat who seemed like a good dude, normal guy, right? So it says here that he went, got another drink, and Sean asked him if I needed something else. I said no. And he said, here, drink this one. And I thought it was another glass of Jim Beam. So I took it because I had set one down in the other room. And then I drank some more and I stayed sitting there and began getting drowsy and started to pass out. And then Sean Combs said to me, I added a little something to it for you. I will get that from you anyway, one way or another. Then I passed out. Now, this is where it gets pretty interesting. The defendant blanked me. The defendant sexually assaulted me. The defendant paid Detroit and Monroe police officers to keep it hidden, and they hid it very, very well and have kept it hidden for many decades, but not anymore. I am a victim. All right. So what is it about this property? Okay. It says the property sale, transfer of title, or deed should not take place because it is being done so for the sole purpose of depriving this plaintiff of any monetary judgment that would be entered in favor of the plaintiff in the event this matter went to a jury trial. So this man claims in the last few weeks, we talking recently, okay? This is not like a last month. This is recently within the last few days, the last few weeks of this month and so forth. He claims that Diddy came to the correctional facility. He's in the E.C. Brooks Correctional Facility in Muskegon, Michigan. Claims that Diddy came a couple of times to offer him a $23 million settlement instead of, him going after him for $100 million, which is what has been claimed. The judge in this matter actually granted the motion of this inmate. Take a look for yourself.
Lee Cardello-Smith, sir?
Yes, I am, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. This is in the matter of Derrick Lee Cardello-Smith, MDOC number 267009 versus Sean Combs, Sean Puff Daddy Combs, also known as Sean P. Diddy, also known as Diddy, Bad Boy Records, label owner, founder, also known as Puff P. Daddy, Bad Boy, Diddy Run the City, Sean Combs, also known as Sean Puffy Combs. And this is file number 24-7362NO. I'll grab your paperwork here real quick out of this other paperwork. We do have Mr. Cardello-Smith appearing from the Michigan Department of Corrections. Sir, where are you currently located?
I'm located at the Ernest C. Brooks Correctional Facility, 2500 South Sheridan Drive, Muskegon, Michigan, 49444, ma'am.
All right, thank you, sir.
Or Your Honor.
Thank you. So I do see that we do have a proof of service on Mr. Combs, but for purposes of this hearing, you filed a motion for a temporary restraining order and/or a preliminary injunction to stop all sales of the property and assets attached to or involved with said property based on the interest of plaintiff and plaintiff's connections to defendant's sexual assault of plaintiff Derrick Lee Cardello-Smith, requiring a preliminary injunction and/or a temporary restraining order. We did set that for hearing today, and luckily the Brooks Correctional Facility was able to make you available. Actually, they had to drive someone up today on another case. So, sir, I have received your motion and a proposed order. Do you wish to argue the motion today, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you may proceed then.
Okay, the purpose of it is based on two actions taken by Mr. Combs himself, directly with me here. We did a live one-on-one visit in our prison visiting room. There's two meetings within the past 2 weeks with Mr. Combs on one meeting, and then a financial advisor on the other meeting on Mr. Combs' behalf. And he stated that he would make me an offer to end the case and what happened to me because of other things that he stated he has going on in his life that require his money right now, and he wants to sell everything off. And he made me a financial offer of $2.3 million to allow what happened to me to go away. And he stated that he's going to be selling his property, and under the 2005 California Civil Code 2881-2885, the creation of liens, which allows out-of-state justices and orders to cause a stop of any title transfer, property transfers in Los Angeles or any other place that he has property. He stated that he wouldn't be able to proceed with that sale. And he did it the day after I served him the suit. And he also said that he won't be filing an answer to the complaint. He said, you can find me in default or whatever. He has a better chance with default than he would with having a restraining order stop. And I said, so you want to hide your money and stop from being quite possibly paid to me if I'm given the benefit of a judgment in my favor for what you've done to me. And he pretty much said, yeah. He goes, you know how we get down. And I said, okay, well, I disagree with how you get down. Your sale shouldn't go through.
So I'm gonna hold on.
I'm sorry.
Cardello-Smith. Okay, so you went in a different direction than I thought you were going into. I thought we were just going to focus. No.
We are.
You kind of went off on a different direction than what your actual motion was.
Yeah.
So what I just want to say is settlement negotiations.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
In this case, are probably better not. Yeah, they're not to be placed on the record today. Okay.
I apologize.
No, it's okay. You're not an attorney. I understand that. So if we can just backtrack and focus just on your motion.
I get what you want.
Okay, thank you.
If he's allowed to sell his property that he has in LA and the properties that are in his name being used and held by other people in Michigan, then it will cause me harm because I can be tied directly to those properties through loans and through other areas of investment that I did when I was out there and while in prison through money that I've sent. And if he's allowed to go through with any of the sales, I won't be able to recoup any of my monies or anything from him as a result of any possible judgment in this action, if he's allowed to proceed with it. And an injunction or a restraining order would help ensure that he's not manipulating and selling the property to avoid his responsibility in these matters here. That's what a temporary restraining order would do. It would prevent that from happening. Because it's a very serious matter. It involves a lot of money. And him selling this would help him avoid his liability. for these actions done upon me. And I was just hoping that I'd be able to get the restraining order to prevent that. There won't be any harm to him, any of the parties. There won't be any harm to him in any way. And if it's deemed that it's not justified, then he can go ahead and go through with the sale at the end of the case. But one has to be put in place to stop this from happening.
Okay. Okay. So thank you very much.
Yes.
Hold on, I'm just looking back through your complaint.
Yes.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna check one more of your filings. So I'm gonna step off the bench for 2 seconds and I'll be right back, all right?
Yes, Judge Anzalone.
Thank you. Okay. All right, so thank you, sir. Is there anything else you wish to add?
I was just, first off, just thank you for giving me the hearing and thank you for setting a pretrial on this matter. Thank you, Your Honor. There were
You're
some
welcome.
other filings. There were some other filings that you should have gotten. I didn't know if that's one of the filings you could have been referring to.
So I received your complaint and all the attachments to it. And then I received this motion. And I just wanted to take a moment to review back through the U.S.
Okay.
District Civil Docket and your complaint. So I did do that. That's all. And,
Yes. Okay.
okay. Anything else?
Everything that you're looking at, they're all tied in together. Every part, as crazy as this seems, as outrageous as it seems, it all ties in. Every bit of it, every facet.
Okay. All right. Well, I have a proof of service showing that Mr. Combs was served on July 6th of 2000 and, let me see, is that 24?
Yes, Your
Yep.
Honor.
Looks like it. 2024, return receipt requested was provided. So there is proper service. Mr. Combs has neither appeared nor responded to this request. So I'm going to grant your motion for a preliminary injunction temporary restraining order and order that the defendant and their agents are hereby enjoined temporarily for a period of 90 days on the sale, transfer, or exchange, trade, or transaction of title or deed to the property listed as the address and placed on the market by defendants for the amount of $70 million. And this property and estate belonging to or connected to defendant Sean Combs shall cease and desist any and all trades, transactions, or otherwise stop the process of any further actions on this property being continued. And this shall have an immediate effect. I'm going to date this August 7th of 2024. And I am going to sign this. And we are set for a pretrial date on Monday, September 9th of 2024 at 2:30 p.m. Is there
Your Honor.
anything else? Yes, sir.
Yes, thank you so much, Your Honor. First off, thank you very much, ma'am. The second thing is, under the summons rules and the court rules of service, Mr. Combs, the defendant, had 28 days after he was served by mail, 21 if it's regular process service. His 28th day was the August 3rd, and there was no answer on the default. And I understand that I have to motion verbally or in writing, whichever one you prefer however you prefer, to have default judgment entered. And today is literally the 28, 9, 30, 31, 32nd day, I believe. And I'd like to either preserve the issue of default judgment or judgment in my favor based on failure to answer.
Okay.
Whichever Your Honor would like.
Great, thank you. Typically, we require that. Ms. McGrain. Is
How
Ms.
would you spell
McGrain
her
in
name, Your Honor?
Oh, no, hold on, I'm talking to my judicial attorney. Typically, we require the, motion for the affidavit and motion for default be filed. So Miss Adams, is Miss McGrain in her office?
She is not. I'm going to go find her right now, Judge.
Okay.
I know,
Hold
I
on.
read that rule. I read the rule, Your Honor. MCR 2.603 governs that. And it said the party can do it in front of the trial court judge or
Yeah.
by mail. Whatever you want.
So, sir, the court rule that you're referring to, it's not a trial date, so I think I'm right. So you're gonna have to file the affidavit and request for default, okay?
Okay. Yes, Your Honor.
And, obviously you'll be able to file that before a pre-trial date anyway, okay?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor. Okay, so
All
the
right,
order
so-
was granted?
The order, your ex parte motion was granted, or your motion for a temporary restraining order was granted. I've signed it. And so we'll get that processed and back to you, and then you'll have to obviously serve that on the parties.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Can your order
All right.
say any, Your Honor, can you add on your order any Michigan representatives of him acting on his behalf for Michigan properties as well as part of that order? Or does your order cover everything?
You provided the order, so I'm going off.
Yes,
the
I did.
order.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Yeah, so I'm going off the order you provided to me, and I've signed
Okay,
that order
that's-
already.
That's what I
Okay.
needed. Thank you. All right,
All
thank you,
right,
Your
thank
Honor.
you, thank you, Mr. Cardello-Smith, and we'll make sure the writ's done, and we'll see you back in September. Thank you.
Thank you. God bless.
All right, Biz Nation, as you can see, very, very interesting interaction between Mr. Cardello-Smith and the judge. The judge granted the motion for temporary cease and desist or restraining order from him selling his home in LA. So the LA home that he listed for $70 million for the next 90 days, as of August the 7th, 2024, as of 90 days, he cannot sell or transact that property at all. Okay. Because it will conflict with a future settlement that is upward, I believe, to $100 million. And he's trying to deflect from paying that settlement by doing these things, selling his home and keeping away assets and things of that nature. So let's get into some more detail with this, because look, this is very, very interesting. Let's go ahead and get to some details.
So Cardello-Smith, who claims he met personally with Combs over the last few weeks, wants this injunction to prevent Combs from selling property. And why does this matter? Because you might remember that in July, as we reported, Combs had listed his home in the Homely Hills area of Los Angeles for $70 million. No word yet on whether there's any takers there, but that is the same home that Homeland Security agents raided back in the spring, reportedly in connection with a sex trafficking investigation by the Southern District of New York. Now, to be clear, no charges or arrests have come as a result of that, but we're continually following that developing story. All right, let's take a look at the complaint that Cardello-Smith filed here that this temporary restraining order is in connection to. Now, Cardello-Smith claims that in 1997, he was a bartender at a restaurant in Detroit. He says he was invited to a gathering at the Holiday Inn where Combs would be partying. The complaint reads, quote, plaintiff was excited to attend this gathering and did so because this was Sean Puff Daddy Combs, Bad Boys. Plaintiff had participated in and consumed alcohol with Mr. Combs and the ladies and other security. Puffy was shockingly cool and someone who seemed like a really decent, normal guy. Cardello-Smith goes on to allege that he participated in group sex with several women and Combs, but said that when Combs showed an interest in him, he immediately got up and sat on a couch. By the way, a little side note here, these allegations are very similar to what has been alleged in several lawsuits that have been filed against Sean Combs since November of 2023. Recall, he's facing allegations of sex trafficking, rape, harassment, abuse, and so forth. But Cardello-Smith's complaint states, quote, I then went to get another drink, and Sean asked me if I needed something else. I said no, and he said, here, drink this one. And I thought it was another glass of Jim Beam, so I took it because I had sat one down in the other room, and then I drank some more, and I stayed sitting there and began getting drowsy and started to pass out. And then Sean Combs said to me, I added a little something to it for you. I will get that from you anyway, one way or another. I then passed out. Cardello-Smith claims that when he woke up, Combs admitted he sexually assaulted him when he was unconscious. Cardello-Smith claims that he left. He never went back. He alleges he filed a police report, but couldn't talk about what happened to him. He says therapy in prison helped him realize that he was a victim of rape. And he goes on to claim that Combs paid off police to keep the whole thing quiet. Quote, the defendant paid Detroit and Monroe police officers to keep it hidden, and they hid it very, very well and have kept it hidden for many decades, but not anymore. So in the complaint against Combs, Cardello-Smith is asking for $100 million. And then Cardello-Smith makes the claim during this hearing, and this is where it takes an even bigger turn, that Combs and or his associates came to the Michigan prison in person to offer him $23 million instead. So then Combs lists his Los Angeles property as being up for sale, and Cardello-Smith takes an issue with this because in his motion for the temporary restraining order, Cardello-Smith claims the property sale, transfer of title, or deed should not take place because it is being done so for the sole purpose of depriving this plaintiff of any monetary judgment that would be entered in favor of the plaintiff in the event this matter went to a jury trial. Now, the judge looked over this paperwork, heard his argument, and actually granted the injunction, the temporary restraining order, to stop Combs from selling property for a period of 90 days. You don't always see that. Non-attorneys winning legal motions, arguments. So that was a big deal. Then again, he kind of has a history of filing legal papers, so he might have learned how to do all this. But also, Cardello-Smith wasn't done yet. No, he also wanted to have a default judgment entered against Combs because he claims that Combs didn't file an answer, which is a legal response, to the summons. And so the judge let him know about next steps.
So you're gonna have to file the affidavit and request for default, okay?
Okay. Yes, Your Honor.
And obviously you'll be able to file that before a pretrial date anyway, okay?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor. Okay, so
All
the
right,
order
so-
was granted?
The order, your ex parte motion was granted, or your motion for a temporary restraining order was granted. I've signed it. And so we'll get that processed and back to you, and then you'll have to obviously serve that on the parties.
So it seems at the very least, he's going to be able to present an argument about default judgment, meaning he automatically should win this. But we will see if the court ultimately accepts it, and Cardello-Smith is going to be scheduled back in court in September. But I want to give you just a little bit more background here about him, because I think it's important. It puts it all in context. So Derrick Lee Cardello-Smith, sometimes known as just Derrick Lee Smith, is very well known to the Michigan court system because over the last couple of decades, Smith has filed dozens of criminal appeals and civil complaints to the point that some officers of the court have allegedly called him, quote, a nuisance. For example, that includes a lawsuit that he filed against the Archdiocese of Detroit, Assumption Grotto Church and School, St. Jude Parish, St. Judge Rectory, St. Jude School, plus at least one priest and one Monsignor claiming he was sexually abused and was silenced when he tried to report what happened to him. Now, his court record indicates that in 1998, he was convicted of 2 counts of third-degree sexual conduct, and when he was paroled and while out, prosecutors say he committed more sexual offenses. He was convicted in 2008 on 6 counts of first-degree criminal sexual conduct, 2 counts of kidnapping. He pled no contest in that case. And then in 2019, he was convicted of 4 counts of first-degree criminal sexual conduct. Cardello-Smith has appealed all of those convictions over the years, contends that he was falsely accused of rape in 1998, that he was set up by the police. Recently, Cardello-Smith has attempted to file multiple documents with the Michigan Court of Appeals, many of which have seemingly been rejected because they were filed incorrectly. And remember, Cardello-Smith is representing himself, so that wouldn't be surprising. Now, in a recent opinion, a judge for the Western District of Michigan wrote that Cardello-Smith has, quote, filed many, many habeas corpus petitions in this court and the United States District Court for the Eastern District of Michigan. Each of his prior petitions has been denied, dismissed, or transferred to the Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals as second and or successive. Now, by the way, habeas corpus is a legal challenge to one's detention, saying it's unlawful. But that same judge wrote this opinion back in 2018, quote, petitioner has also filed a number of habeas petitions that related to prison conditions or misconduct determinations. Courts have dismissed those petitions because the issues raised were not cognizable on habeas review. Additionally, petitioner has filed a number of petitions relating to the denial of parole. Petitioner also filed one petition relating to a first-degree murder conviction and sentence. Petitioner reports he was sentenced for the offense on the same day as his 2008 convictions, but the court could find no record of that conviction or sentence. Finally, petitioner filed one petition that did not indicate what state action he was challenging or why he was challenging it. Bottom line, Cardello-Smith is certainly known for being litigious. Are these real claims that he's making, particularly against Sean Combs, or is he just jumping on the bandwagon of legal action against Sean Combs? We shall see. He won a temporary legal victory. We will see what happens next.
And so that is a good question that Jesse Weber asked in his video is this another bandwagon person trying to get some money, or is this legit? Is this a legit thing? Did P Diddy legit come to the correctional facility, look you dead in your eye and offer you a $23 million settlement in a very secret way, or is this something that has to take place? And so it seems like the judge was convinced by per motion of the defendant, of the plaintiff, excuse me, that he should be granted this particular motion. So it is ordered. Diddy cannot sell his house for the next 90 days. Hey, like this video, share this video. Look, leave your comments below. Let me know what you think. I have no idea, to be honest, what to think about on this. Seems like all of this is just alleged and things of that nature. But with this motion being granted, we have to put an eye on this. We got to see what's going on here, because there is supposed to be a pretrial September the 9th, 2024 in said courtroom. So again, this is Biz Nation. It's your boy Tay Biz. Like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Holla at you. Peace.